Yo, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be showing you my games that got me number 6 and number 7 in the world. If you guys enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. So the first match I'm going to be showing here is going to be against Golem, Arrows, kind of like spam I guess. Just like Golem, Night Witch, Arrows, Mirror. This is a pretty hard matchup because you have to play very solid defense to win, but to win, you need to like pressure really well, and you need to defend good in single elixir because that's when their pushes are the hardest to stop. So if you make it past single elixir, you usually do pretty good. You also need to keep up the pressure, so I go for a mega minion, a princess here on the mega minion, and then I go for a mighty miner over here. Then I pop my ability. I know I'm gonna take damage on the left, but it's better to get the mighty miner alive and pressure on the right than to save the 600 damage that it got. So now he has to either mini P.E.K.K.A. or golem in the back, and he decides to golem in the back, which I don't really agree with that because it doesn't really make any sense because he just lost like most of his tower for doing that. Go for a golem barrel here on the right because I still need to cycle back to my mighty miner to defend. I go for a cannon here like in the maximum pull placement for the golem, and then I go for a mighty miner here and the princess. Go for mighty miner first, then I go princess down here. Then I go for the ability predicting the zap, which I actually do. And then I go for skeletons to distract the mini P.E.K.K.A. and pull up those bats that were going to the tower. Then I go for fire spirit to pull the night witch into the mighty miner. So very solid first defense considering how much elixir I was down. And then go for Gombrel here on the right, knowing that he can mirror the arrows, but it's not really a good play because then I'll just keep pressuring and he won't really be able to build up a push for the rest of the game. So very nice start, taking his tower in single elixir and then also not really taking too much damage. So I start with a princess in the back here on the right. A princess in the back early because I need to cycle to a second or even third one on defense. Then I go for skeletons on the left because I'm going to need to cycle back to them very soon as well just to pull stuff in. Go for cannon here on the golem. And then I also go for a mighty miner just to try to chip it down, and then I go for a golem barrel to pull the lumberjack into my cannon. And I go for princess back here again like last time. Go for fire spirit to kill the bats, then skeletons to block the mini P.E.K.K.A. cannon just to start DPSing. Then I do the ability log and fire spirit to kill the night witch, and then yeah, I took like only like 300-400 damage on defense, so pretty solid defense. And I just start with a princess again in the back because I want to have a princess down at all times. I know he's going to go on the bridge here because he has no time left, so I go for mighty miner and cannon here just to DPS down the golem as fast as possible. I'm going to go for a fire spirit. You notice how like I always go for fire spirit to kill at least 4 bats because I need to kill like the first 4 bats to make sure the night witch dies, and then the princess and stuff can clean up the rest, or I can even pop the ability on the mighty miner to finish off the rest of the bats. But if my mighty miner dies or if like my stuff dies and I get overwhelmed, then that can't even happen, so you have to be very careful. But that was a nice one against Golem. He didn't really do anything good, to be honest, but I feel like I played really good defense, so I wanted to show that match. Alright, so the next game is going to be against Lava with Arrows and Zap. So this matchup is pretty difficult as well. Not too bad with minions, but the same kind of principle of playing kind of applies. Just starting with like a fire spirit still and stuff like that, waiting for him to lava. So I go mighty miner skeletons to get to my goblin barrel, and then I go goblin barrel in the back. The reason you see me do goblin barrel in the back is because if he tries to go barbs in the front, then the goblin barrel doesn't get hit by the barbs, and then I could also pop the ability too. So really nice start for me there on the right side. I guess my left, but his right. He tries to minions to predict my ability. I never did the ability because I thought he would predict it with something. So I thought there was no point to use that one elixir. I thought it would be a waste. Go for a fire spirit over here to pull everything in, and then I just go for a rocket here. It's fine to go for a rocket because if you look at his hand, he has Loon, Zap, Barbs, and Lava. And I know that if he goes for a Loon and then a Miner, I can just go Cannon and Dark Goblin because you saw he just uses arrows on my Dark Goblin, so it'll be very easy to defend. So here I just go Mighty Miner towards the King, I think. Okay, no I didn't. I go Barrel first, and then I think I do the Mighty Miner towards the King, I think. I don't remember exactly what I did. Yeah, I had to go Mighty Miner towards the King because I wanted to force out some elixir with the barbs. Then I just pop the ability to damage the barbs, and this is fine, it's just I need to get it out because now you see, when he lavas in the back, he won't have it. I go Dark Goblin here for the barbs. And then I go Fire Spirit and Skeletons. And then I'm back to my Mighty Miner. And then now you see that in his hand he has Miner, Minion, Zap, and Balloon. So now I'm going to take this whole tower here, if not most of it. I think I take the whole tower here. Yeah, you see there, I take the whole tower just by baiting out his barbs before, so then he couldn't defend the second one. Here I go for a rocket, and then I got one off to the side to snipe it very quickly, so then I make sure the balloon dies, and then I go for Fire Spirit Skellies, and then I go for my Mighty Miner bomb on the minion horde. I chose to ignore the right side tower because I knew I couldn't defend anymore, but looking back now, I should have went for Skeletons, not in the middle to pull the minion horde to the opposite lane, but to make the Skeletons stay with the minion horde, so then I could have killed everything, like the minion horde and the lava puffs. So I guess I learned something going through my replays and talking out my plays. So that's actually kind of nice. Yeah, next time I should have went. Next time I should go for the Skeletons right in front to get to my Mighty Miner, then go for my ability, so then it kills everything instead of losing my tower. It didn't cost me anything in the end, but because I still won. But it's still nice to like know that like that could have costed me, and like I still learned from my own mistakes. So here I'm going to be against Elf QQ. He plays with Drill, Rocket, Bomber, Bandit, Log cycle, so very tough matchup, but if I play really well, I can win. I go for Fire Spirit and Mighty Miner there to counter the first Drill because I didn't have Log. To be honest, it's really tough to win this because he has like the same cycle as you, but Drill and Rocket are very hard to stop. I go Princess and Ability here because I try to predict the Bomber. It didn't really work out there, unfortunately. I logged to keep my Princess alive, then Fire Spirit and Skeletons on the Bandit. If you look at his cycle right now, it's very messed up. I ignored the Fire Spirit there. I go for a Barrel, I think at the same time he goes for the Drill, because I knew he was going to pressure very hard. I go for a Cannon here on the Bandit, and then I go for a Log. I did my Cannon right there because I knew that the Bandit wouldn't get any damage if it got hit by the Log, so very nice start there. That's kind of how you want to start this matchup. You want to have a damage advantage and then hold that advantage for the rest of the game by perfectly defending the drills. But it's pretty hard to get an advantage in the beginning in general, and it's also hard to keep that damage because he's just able to pressure the whole time. I go for a Princess here to snipe the Bomber. He goes for a Log on my Princess because his cycle's kind of messed up, and you saw there that he didn't really have anything other than like an Inferno Tower, but that would be a good play. I go for a Barrel and Fire Spirit here to pressure because I knew he didn't have a Log. Go for Mighty Miner and Log here. I know he's not going to get any damage, so it's fine just to do that to make sure the Bomber doesn't get any damage. I have Skeletons here to preserve the HP on my Mighty Miner, and then if you look at his cycle again, it's very bad, so I Princess the Bridge here. I do it because he only had Log to defend the Princess, so then I get his Log out of rotation again, and then I can go for another Fire Spirit Barrel, and he doesn't really have anything for it again. My cycle is super bad here, and I don't know what he was doing with that Drill. He put Skeletons in the Drill. That might have meant to be a Bandit, I don't really know, but it's very good for me, and I'm messing up his cycle well, like forcing out the Log on Princesses, and like now he's using the Log just hoping to predict Skeletons and stuff to try to get damage, make a comeback. So I go for Fire Spirit and Log here, and then I go for Skeletons. Okay, no, I went for a Cannon. I don't know why I went for Cannon. I definitely should have went for Skeletons. I go for Barrel though because he did use his Log. Go for Fire Spirit and Log here. I should have definitely went for Skeletons on the Bandit. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't realize that I got my Skeletons back. I go for another Cannon here. I only need 2 Logs and 1 Rocket to win the game, so I'm being careful right now. I go for a Skellies, Fire Spirit, and then there I don't Log. But my Barrel, I was going to Log the tower to try to get a second one, but there my Barrel actually got 1 hit, so I just win the game with a Rocket. Very nice play against that matchup. That matchup's very hard to beat, so I'm happy to have won it. The season was very tough for Logbait. I got hard countered so many times. There was like a lot of Lava Hound, Electro Giant Mirror, Earthquake, stuff like that. So it was a very hard season. So in this match I'm against Bad Booney. This guy plays with Pigs, Earthquake cycle, so very hard matchup, but as well as the other ones, if I play well, I can win, but It's kind of dependent on what mistakes he makes. He goes pigs here, so I just go for a cannon in the middle. I do it down here because I want to get as much damage on the pigs as possible, and I go skellies on the left just to clean up a bit. And I also wanted him to earthquake because I need to get a bit of chip in the beginning to win. So if he earthquakes, even though he gets some chip, it's a bit better because it gives me more opportunities to get damage. Here I go for a princess on the royal recruit, or else it's going to get a hit on my tower. And then we'll also stay back a bit and snipe at the cannon. This is really hard though because he's a good pigs player, and he knows that with pigs you want to log on the princess. And logging on the princess makes it very annoying and tough for me on defense. So let's go for a fire spirit into his fire spirit here. Then he goes queen, so I go for a mighty miner. You always go mighty miner into the queen because you can use the ability and then you can pop the ability and it will like pretty much kill the queen if you use like a spirit or the skeletons. Here I just go for a log on the right and the fire spirit just to clean up, and then I let the left go. If you look at his elixir right now, he's pretty low, but it won't really matter if he's smart. Go for a barrel here on the right just to try to bait out the log. I know he can delivery on the left, but if you look at his elixir, I can get good princess damage on the right. I go for princess on the right here, and then I skellies. I thought I was going to skellies in the middle there. I logged the skeletons. Go for skellies over here on the recruit. I go for a mighty miner here on the archer queen like I always do. Then I pop my ability, and then as you can see, it knocks it back and damages it a lot, so now I can use fire spirit to counter it. That's why the mighty miner is very good on defense versus the queen, and that he also has to defend the mighty miner because it goes to the opposite lane and survives with a bunch of HP. I just go for a barrel here on the right. I'm trying to time my barrels so that he doesn't have delivery in hand exactly when he logs, and I'm also fine with making him log my barrel so then he can't log my princess, so I have an easier time on defense. I go for a princess back here so he can't log it, so it helps out on defense, and I go for the ability to block for the queen so that my cannon can kill the pigs. So very solid defense there. I go for princess at the bridge because I didn't think you would expect it since I hadn't really done it that much yet, and then I go for a fire spirit barrel here to force out the royal delivery. My fire spirit gets on the tower because my princess got a clutch shot on the skeletons. Just cycle my skellies and princess to back. As you guys have probably noticed, I'm almost always having a princess on the field, and I'm like making it very awkward for him to defend because he's trying to log the princesses to get like a easier time on getting damage, but then I'm always going for barrels. I go for a nice cannon there to avoid the earthquake. Go for the ability here right when he pops the ability, then I just go for skeletons to clean up. I go for a rocket here because I have mighty miner princess down, and he doesn't have archer queen in cycle. Go for a princess in the back. As you can also see, I'm not really putting my princess in front of my king tower that often. I'm usually putting my princess in the back because if I put it in front of my king tower, he can log if it walks up just a tiny bit. So I rocket again here because I have a princess down and I'm not down too much. And he also didn't have earthquake in cycle, so if he went for pigs, I could have just went for easy defense. I have a princess in the corner here. Go for mighty miner a bit early because I thought he would pig, so I try to predict the pigs. I pop my ability here, knock it back, and then I go for fire spirit skellies, and then I go for a cannon all the way over here again. Log to finish off the queen, and skellies, fire spirit to go for a princess, another cannon, a log, and then I go for skellies back up top just to block everything. And then I know I only need 2 rockets and a bit of damage here, so I go for a rocket on the tower because I know I can get away with it since I have a princess down. I go for another princess since he had to log the other one. Go for mighty on the queen, then I go cannon over here. As you can see, I'm never really letting him earthquake my cannon. Then I just go for a rocket log here because rocket logged is 668, and that was just a nice win against pigs. As you guys probably noticed, the main things I was doing in that matchup was I rocketed the tower when I already had a princess down or when he didn't have an archer queen in cycle. Those are like pretty much the times you want to rocket, is when you have a princess down and alive and you have like a new one coming up, or when you're up in elixir and they don't have an archer queen. Those are like the 2 times you want to rocket, and it can make it a lot easier because if you have a princess down, it's like awkward for them to go in because like they don't want to go for a pigs into a princess because then you can just go like fire spirit and log, and if they split them you can just go for a high cannon and the princess will chip it out and you can defend pretty easily since you have that princess down. So here I'm in a game against Samuel. He's gonna be playing the drill magic archer bridge spam deck, so pretty tough matchup, but if I play really well I can win. He starts with a drill, so I go fire spirit and log. That's like the best way to counter drills. I guess skeletons work too, but fire spirit's a bit more consistent. I go for a goblin barrel here on the right because he golden knighted in the left. The reason this matchup is so hard is because you can't really get damage, but if you play well and you use your mighty miners well, you can sometimes get some damage with your 3-card cycle. I go cannon here and then I predict his ability with skeletons in front of my tower. So then I activate my king there, which is super nice, and it helps me out a lot. I think it's the only reason I won, to be honest. I go for a fire spirit here to block the charge, and then I go for a log as well. I think without that king tower activation I would have lost the game, to be honest, because I wouldn't have really been able to defend that well because it's way too hard to defend. Go for a cannon down here to make sure the marcher doesn't do any damage, and then I go for a mighty miner on the cannon cart. Goes for an E-Wiz there to make sure that my mighty miner dies. I pop my ability just to damage the E-Wiz, and then I go for skeletons on the E-Wiz. So not a bad start at all. Honestly, I'd even say a pretty good start because I only took about 300 damage and I activated my king tower, so that's going to help out a ton. Goes for a golden knight on the fire spirit, so I go for a goblin barrel on the left just to cycle, and then I go for a princess to get to my mighty miner, then I go for my mighty miner here. I go for skeletons on the drill. Okay, no, I actually logged and then fire spirited. I should have went skeletons and then log in my opinion. I guess I had a different thing in mind, but that definitely wasn't the right play. I should have went skeletons and then logged there. I took a goblin hit and I wasted my fire spirit. It could have definitely been better. I go for skeletons here on the cannon cart. It goes in with Dark Prince as well, so I go for a cannon. I go for a goblin barrel on the right just to apply some more pressure. He doesn't activate the king there, which I was kind of annoyed about because I wanted him to activate the king so I could have more opportunities to get damage. Even though it is harder to get damage with the king up, I feel like playing it in the corner the whole game makes it harder to get damage in this matchup. Go for the bomb there just to hit the magic archer. He goes for a good golden knight drill tornado push, so I take a lot of damage there. I ignore the magic archer, then go for another barrel, but he has bar barrel again, so I still get no damage, so it's not looking too great so far, but in this matchup, you have to remember that he doesn't have a big spell, so I can always come back. I Skelly's there, I predict the archer, so then I log it back. Then I go for Fire Spirit Barrel, and then he has a very bad cycle for this. Then I get a lot of damage there because he messes up the tornado, and then he goes Skelly's on the drill. I don't overcommit with the log. I just use my log on the E-Wiz to get damage and cycle. And then I go for another Goblin Barrel here, force out the Bar Barrel. Go for a Princess in the back. As you can see, I'm never putting a Princess at the bridge in this matchup because it doesn't really do anything and you need it on defense a lot, and it's just better to keep him stacked up since he doesn't have a big spell. I predicted his Magic Archer again, so I log it back, and then I go for a Fire Spirit to block the charge, and my barrel got a lot of damage since he had no Bar Barrel and he didn't have enough for a tornado straight away. And then I go for a Princess at the bridge here. I know I said I didn't do it, but this time, if you look at his cycle, it wasn't good at all. He couldn't get a counter push from it, and I wanted just that tiny bit of damage. And the biggest part though was getting the E-Wiz out of cycle, because then my Mighty Miner will get a bunch of value. But I go for skeletons here to block the charge, and then I go for a Mighty Miner here. And him not having E-Wiz there was very important because my Mighty Miner, he needed to kill the cannon cart. Go for log down the Magic Archer, and then go for another cannon, and I Fire Spirit to make sure the ability doesn't go to my tower. Go for Mighty Miner up top, Skellies, and then log on the drill. I go for the ability here, I think. Yeah, damage the E-Wiz and force out a response on the left, or else the Mighty Miner will take the whole tower. Go for Princess here, and then Skellies to make sure my cannon doesn't die. Go for log as well to keep my Princess alive. My Princess is chipping out on both sides. I go for a barrel on the left because the Archer's on the right. And then I go for Mighty Miner here on the Golden Knight. The Magic Archer dies there, which is huge. I go for a skeletons, log, barrel just to pressure, fire spirit, cannon, and then I go for skellies and log. And here I know that I don't even need to rocket the tower. I do it anyway though, just to make sure if he somehow gets a bit of damage, but I make sure to defend. I didn't go for my Mighty Miner there because I didn't want to get like Magic Arch or Tornadoed onto the tower. I just put my cannon in the middle, then I put my Mighty Miner after he Tornadoed, and I was able to get a nice win with Samuel. He played very well, but I think he just made like one mistake on the Tornado on the barrel, and I feel like that costed him because that's what got me most of my damage, and then it put him in a position where he wasn't really controlling the game anymore, and then I was able to start controlling the game. And I also want to thank anybody who's still watching, and I also wanted to say thank you for all the support recently. It really means a lot, and I may not say it very often because honestly I don't really know what to say because there's not really much I can say for the amount of support that I've been given recently. And thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy, and see you in the next video. Bye.